Hi, thanks so much for tuning in to Mom Boss Chronicles. My name is Jen.
This is Sue.
And this is Danielle.
We are three moms that work together in real estate and are good friends, and here to talk to you about fun topics, the good, the bad, the ugly, of mom struggles, real estate, and other fun stuff. So make sure to subscribe to listen to more.
Welcome back to another week of Mom Boss Chronicles. We are here with my friend Krista Richter. Hi. She is the owner of Krista Creations. Tell me.
It's Kreative Home Solutions.
Kreative Home Solutions.
Not even close. Yes.
In my head, I just see K's.
Yeah, my life is pretty much all about K's. Yep. And it's a play on my initials, KR.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually tell us about that. So your creation of your company, tell us about your company and then how you came about with the name.
So we are a local home builder. I do construction. I build houses. I specialize.
A woman home builder? Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Mommy built houses.
Yes, I love that.
My mommy built that.
So badass.
Yeah. So I've been doing it 15 years now, a little bit longer. It's really kind of been a hobby and a passion of mine.
Did you grow up like as a child?
So my dad did construction.
That's
so
awesome.
Yep, I was on job sites. My mom's side of the family, they were auto mechanics.
Wow.
So before I got into that, I was racing cars, and I had a car at 15. I used to race Mustangs out at Englishtown. Had a motorcycle at 17
That's
going to my
awesome.
senior year on my Suzuki. So I haven't ridden since my first daughter was born.
Wow.
But yeah, I've always been a tomboy.
Yeah.
So it fell into suit. I went to school to be a graphic designer.
That's awesome.
I saw that movie, What Women Want, with Mel Gibson. Yeah. And I was like, I love what he does. You know what I mean? What am I going to do with my life? Who knows?
Right.
I can't be a mechanic. I'm not going to go and, doing anything in construction was just fun at that point.
Yeah.
You didn't really think about it. So I realized very quickly I don't sit behind a computer very well. I got into real estate advertising. And I was at the Asbury Park Press, started my career there, rose up. That place was definitely...
Like in Asbury?
Yeah, in the building.
Yeah.
That's not there anymore. I started down in the mailroom.
Wow.
I was 19 years
really
old.
started from the bottom.
Really?
Yeah.
And now I'm here.
Yeah.
It's like a movie. I worked in the mail.
Yes, I did. And I literally did. I was 19 years old.
Wow. You're a hustler.
Yeah, I was doing something. I had to work 3 jobs to support my Mustang habit, going racing and buying new parts and fixing the engine and all the things. And
That's awesome. And then you got into advertising sales there.
Yes.
Which is kind of interesting because you do construction. So that's kind of like that skill, I'm sure, helps you.
Yeah. So I was originally, because obviously I mingled with everybody. I was knowing a lot of people. I was originally supposed to go to a different department and there was a hiring freeze. So it had already happened. They had hired somebody to do my job, but I didn't have an official place. So they threw me into real estate advertising.
Wow.
Yeah. Which I ended up staying there. I loved it. I was in inside sales. It was really before the internet was becoming a thing. So back then, and you guys being realtors, back then they had to write on a piece of paper their open house and buy appointments that were in the Sunday newspaper.
Wow.
And
what year is this?
Gosh. Again, I was 19, 2004, 5.
Wow. Yeah. So I started real estate in 07. So so the paper and the internet was just starting. But yes, a lot of things were still in the classified section.
Yeah. So I ended up being in charge of the open house and by appointment pages, the display ads that were in. So you would have to email in your photos and fax in.
Wow.
So we had to match the photos to the paper and put them all together and order the space and send them off. It was it was a process.
Yeah.
There were so many. Sometimes you can have 23, 24 pages in the paper back then. It was really a thing. And then internet started, and then they started easy ads. Oh. So it was the computer program, and I helped them implement that and develop that and, give the input on what was needed, how to use it. And then I went out as an inside salesperson and started teaching all the real estate offices how to use the program.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
All the way from, they owned Gannett. It was Middlesex County, all the way down to Atlantic City, everywhere. Oops.
So obviously during that time, you're making a lot of connections. You're meeting a lot of people.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All the brokers that,
Yeah.
Diane Turton, I had met,
she's
like
awesome. Legend, yeah.
Larry Vecchio is still a
Yeah.
really, really good friend of mine. I actually ended up working with his offices, starting his inter-office magazine back when he had like 24 offices. So I had implemented that
Homes
together.
and Garden, right? Or Homes?
Better Homes.
Better Homes, yes.
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 Yep.
Yeah.
Right when he had just started with the Homes In.
Yes. That's awesome.
So I had really had a hand in the advertising
That's
that
great.
came. I won a blue chip employee of
That's
the month from
amazing.
that out of like 4,000 employees
Wow.
at 20 years old. Like,
Yeah.
it was really cool.
Yeah.
I really thought I was going to be there for a while, but obviously things turned in a different direction. They started doing layoffs, and so I left. I made it like 3 or 4 rounds, but I had glowing recommendations. Actually, my dad had passed away while I was working there, and I really screwed up at one point. I took 2 weeks off and just drove. He's buried out in Maryland, and we just cashed in our change jar. And we just took a road trip.
Yeah.
And I disappeared for a couple of days.
You needed to.
I had to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should have done more, but I come back and I did my work, I'm doing my thing in my zone. I forgot to order the space in the paper.
Oh,
So,
no.
Yeah. Yeah. And, the deal was you need to go to therapy because I don't want to fire you kind of a
Yeah.
thing. It was like a lot of revenue loss. So I got through that.
I appreciate, though, that your employer
Me too.
Right.
It
did
was
that
huge.
because most would
Yeah.
just be like, you messed up here.
Yeah.
You're done. Like,
Yeah.
they wouldn't take
Right.
into conceration. You didn't mess up.
Yeah.
Your brain is
I
in
was-
another
yeah.
place. You're
Yeah.
grieving.
I was 21 years old.
Yeah, you're grieving.
I had been there for quite a few years. I was grieving. It was
Right.
it was a hard time. So it was corporate. So I had like an in-house type of therapist
That's great.
Did that help?
helped
Good.
so much. Yeah, helped a lot. I've always been kind of resilient. I've been through a lot. I'm also a firefighter.
Whoa.
I am.
What don't you do?
Yeah,
Oh my
that,
gosh,
it's a lot.
Krista.
Yeah, yeah. I went through it's a family tradition. My grandfather was chief out of Elbron.
Wow.
My dad was in Long Branch. He was the captain.
Wow, that's
and
amazing.
I went through the academy when I was 18. I grew up
Wow.
in the fire department. Like I said, I was a tomboy.
Wow. So you keep yourself busy. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't answer calls anymore. But I did it. I
amazing.
went through, and I did pretty well. I went and got some extra certifications, and it was a passion. Again,
It's in the DNA.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. To help others. It's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's-
Yep. First aid. My mom was the first female sergeant of the Long Branch First Aid Squad back in the day.
So cool.
Yeah.
Trailblazer.
Yeah. It's been fun.
And I feel like growing up around that, seeing that, right, your mom being a trailblazer and, you can do anything, the construction and the auto work, did that give you the confidence to keep moving forward?
Unfortunately, no. My mom and my relationship was like, rocky at times. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So she got sick really young. She passed at 45.
Wow.
So
That is young.
yeah, she had me young. Look, my mom was a single mom basically.
Wow.
My dad, who raised me, was my stepdad. He came into my life at 18 months.
Wow.
And he raised me.
And that's all you know.
That's
Yeah.
all I know. We have
Yeah.
matching tattoos. You know what I mean? I was a daddy's girl. He's the one who taught me and gave me that foundation.
That's awesome.
and
Thank God for him.
the courage,
Yeah.
the push, the support. He was at. I was a cheerleader. It was about the only girly thing about me. He was at every game to watch. Taught me softball.
Like your big supporter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sweet.
So that was it.
Wow. And then to lose him at such a pivotal age, right? 21, you're coming into yourself, and then
Yeah.
that's got to hurt.
Yeah. And it did.
So then how did you end up, moving on and getting...
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. Actually, I should write a book. People tell
Yes.
me, and
I think you should.
Yeah.
She knows the publisher.
I don't know the first thing about
Oh my
it.
God, let's talk.
I would
because
just have to sit and
By
talk.
age 21, graphic design,
All
firefighter,
that
losing
stuff.
a parent,
Yep.
working and getting promoted. You dealt with a lot. You lived a
Yeah.
whole lifetime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I saw things at a young age, being in the fire department and on the
Sure.
first aid squad. Yeah,
Yeah.
I grew up. I really did. I knew how to take care of myself.
Uh-huh.
So then, again, real estate advertising, and then I ended up dating a guy who was in construction.
Wow.
And he was really good at it, and it was my life for a while. So that's where it really sparked that passion again.
Because did you get into doing construction at that time?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yep. I'd help him go to
Do
job
floors
sites.
and time.
Yeah, so he was
awesome.
building houses, and then I got him, a couple jobs, and he was tiling and trim work, and
And you were doing it.
yeah, I was there
Oh
helping.
my gosh, it's amazing.
Yep. So I was
That's
always
a
learning.
great skill.
Yeah. I knew how to change my oil and I learned how to tile. And
You're like, I can do it. Literally, I can. Yeah.
I don't need anybody because
Hear me roar, baby.
I had just kind of always been self-sufficient.
Yep.
So that's been cool. And I really attribute that to my dad.
That's awesome.
Pushing me for that. And then what happened?
So you're working with your boyfriend at the time.
Yeah. And that ended and we went our separate ways. I ended up in Kansas City after that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How random.
My cousin lives there. He's from here.
And he wanted to change.
I needed to get the hell out of here.
Yeah. Change is good sometimes.
Yeah. Yep. And I go to Kansas City and living with them for 6 or 8 months. And my stepbrother was in California. He had just went through a breakup, called me, jumped on a plane, went to California. Wow. I was living free.
Yeah,
like
right.
Rent, I was paying $400 a month for
my
a 1-bedroom house.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like across the street from my family. It was great. My mom got sick. I got a phone call while I was in California that my mom had collapsed and that she was going in for brain surgery. They had like a softball-sized tumor on her brain, and
that must have came out of left field, right?
I remember I was sitting on top of a huge cliff in California and looking over the ocean, and it was gorgeous and it was beautiful, and I just knocked on my ass immediately because I really hadn't talked to my mom that much beforehand. It was still my mom, though. Yeah. You know what I mean? She was, like I said, she raised me on her own. Like, she may have not been able to do certain things, but she did more than anybody did for me. Like, she tried. Yeah. She tried. Yeah. And that's all I could ask, at the end of the day. And it took me a while to recognize that I was kind of crappy.
Sometimes I feel like until you're a mom yourself.
Oh my gosh, totally.
And you look back, at like some of the stuff your parents did, especially your mom. Like, mother-daughter relationships are pretty tough. I'm saying? It's just what it is.
And you said she had you at a young age, right?
Yeah.
So she's growing up.
She's growing up with you.
And she's making mistakes, right? Like, probably doing the best she can, not doing great, but still she's young, making mistakes. Yeah, with a child, which is rough for you because you were exposed to these things.
Yeah. So my grandmother did a lot of raising me.
Yeah.
Come to find out, like 17 years later, that her and my dad had gotten pregnant and had a baby and put her up for adoption when I was 3. Wow. Yeah. And I had no idea until I was 7.
This is your stepdad?
Yes.
Okay.
But he was my dad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it.
17 years old, I found that out.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I searched for her for 15 years.
Did you find her?
I did.
Did you guys meet?
I love her. She's my favorite person in the entire
I
world.
got chills.
Yeah.
Well, that's a wild
How
story.
did you find her? This is like, you need to write a book.
Yeah. And we still haven't gotten into construction.
Yeah.
Well, we need to talk. My mom is adopted, and I've tried
to connect with the family.
Yeah. It's hard. You gotta.
And 15 years, you spent a long time trying to find.
Long time.
And was she far away?
Trenton.
Oh, so not that far before, but
not that far.
Yeah.
Yep. And again, I didn't know what to believe from my mom because the way I found out wasn't great, and then she really wasn't supportive in wanting to pursue it. I think out of embarrassment. So when my dad died, I did research and contacted them. And nothing happened. Same thing when she passed. I said, they told me as long as one of, while they were both alive, I wasn't the person that I was able to search.
Oh, right.
So when she passed, then you were able to. Wow.
Yeah. So then I searched for her again, and then that's a whole nother story.
Wow.
Yeah.
But
anyway, I ended up with DNA test. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. It was finally after I was pregnant with my second daughter, I found out it was a girl. Oh. And I was like, this is it.
I need to find her.
This is it. Yeah. I'm finding her.
Right.
I mean, we spend almost as many weekends as we can. Her parents, oh my God, Nana and Papa.
Oh, I love that. So you have she's family.
Family.
Yay.
I have a niece and a nephew and my sister, and she looks just like my dad. Oh my God, I just stare at her and I.
And
you're giving me chills.
And your dad must be smiling down, so happy.
Yeah.
That his daughters are bonding.
Yep.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, I have chills. So yeah, it's been an interesting road, to say the least. So fast forward, I moved back
right away.
I pretty much went home, packed my shit and back in a truck and my motorcycle packed in the front with my my mattress on top of that, all my stuff. I came back and it was hard.
I can imagine.
It was really hard.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like the chemo and everything, and she wasn't taking her meds right, and she declined fast.
And that's going to be hard to even witness.
Yeah, 8 months. To see that.
Yeah.
Is gut-wrenching,
Yeah.
And you're young too, right? Are you now in your 20s?
I was in my 20s, so it was 2012.
Wow.
So in the time of her being sick, I came back here, and at the time I was speaking to my biological father, and I went to work in Delaware for him. He had a company down at the airport.
Okay.
So, I was working down there. I had an apartment. I met some great people.
And what were you doing?
He owned basically like an airplane chop shop,
Oh,
but like certified. So it was, on the airport, he chartered private jets.
Wow.
So we would buy airplanes and we would hire a company to come in and tear them down piece by piece,
Wow.
certify them, and then we would sell them
Wow.
to
Amazing.
air people all over the world.
Wow.
Airlines and getting calls in the middle of the night because it's their daytime, AOG, airplane on ground, and you need to get something out like right away. So that was fun, interesting, but I was coming back here a lot. And I met Earl. And Earl was my fiance who passed away.
Oh.
So on top of, it'll be coming up on 8 years this New Year's.
So how long did you and Earl together?
2012, 4 years.
Wow. So you got engaged, was it pretty quickly or?
No, actually, he was married but not happy, I guess, or staying there, whatever the case may be. He was going through divorce.
Yeah.
He was going through
That
divorce.
separation, all of it, yeah.
Yeah. Had just had a baby. His son was 6 months old, and his daughter was like 1.5. And I met him, and it was a whirlwind. It was.
Did you guys meet in New Jersey?
Yeah, so he was friends. He's a firefighter. He was a police
gosh.
officer. He was the captain in Deal,
Wow.
the
So you
police
guys have a lot in
department.
common.
Yeah, he was in our circle of friends.
Right.
He was best friends with my biological father at the time.
Wow.
So, yeah, we all hung out because we're all in the same thing. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Being in the fire department really is just, a lifestyle. I wasn't doing anything with construction at that point. We met. My mom passed away 3 months later. And that was, like I said, it was hard, but I was relieved.
Because, yeah.
Because she was in pain.
sure.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I dumped my life into him and everything that was
And
going
he
on.
was there for you in
Yeah.
really, really hard time in your life.
Yeah.
And thank God for that, right? Like,
Thank God, yeah, because I didn't really get to deal with the grief. And it was crazy, though, when he passed, on top of dealing with that grief, I was dealing with my mom's grief.
you were still processing.
Yeah, I had to process everything.
Oh, my God. And was that sudden? Or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of bizarre how our stories are a little parallel.
Yeah.
Because my mom passed 2 years before my husband passed.
And then your
it's like this.
Yeah.
You're like, what else do you want to throw on here?
Yeah.
Right.
So you're grieving, a parent, and then your future husband. You're building your future with him, right? Like your life was meant to, not meant to go this way.
No, it was really, we traveled.
Oh,
We were best friends.
so it was a great time.
It was a great time.
Wow.
It really was. We were each other's people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Everybody would say it wasn't just Krista and Earl. It was Krista and Earl.
Yeah.
I mean, we went to concerts. We had fun. We talked. We talked about so many things. There were things that I knew about him that I know really nobody else did. We were just
Deeply connected.
that connected.
Yeah.
If one was there, the other one wasn't, far behind at all. We lived right by the police station. He would come home for lunch. I wasn't working at the time. So
Did he like construction? Like,
it was like a hobby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's on the fire department. So
was
the
handy,
boys, they hang out at the fire department. They build stuff. They,
he was
Build,
handy.
cook,
cooking, they hang out.
Guy
and
stuff,
play,
yeah.
guy stuff. So, an opportunity came actually from one of my realtor friends. And she was having trouble getting a CO in town because they don't back then, again, what are we talking, 2013, 14? Short-term rentals, no.
Yeah.
So she's like, he keeps failing me because it's a short-term rental and he doesn't want. And I was like, who's the inspector? And she told me.
Funny, right?
They're all in the fire department.
Yeah.
I've known all these guys my whole life.
That's fine.
So, and at that point, I'd had my real estate license. I went, when I was doing the advertising, I had my real estate license. I did pretty good with that, but it just wasn't my thing.
Yeah. It wasn't something you wanted to do 100%.
No, because the sellers, think it's worth more. Buyers
tough,
have
I
a vision.
know.
And I'm like, knock this wall down. We can open this up.
Your heart was in the construction
Yes,
side.
yeah. I always wanted to just destroy these people's houses and just to make
Start
them
over.
Yeah, just to make them look pretty again. And I was like, all right, this isn't for me. And the life I was building with Earl didn't I didn't need to do that. So that was cool. But anyway, I got into COs. I was able to go in and
do the punch list, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, anybody who's listening, a CO, certificate of occupancy, when you're selling or renting your home, the town comes in and they check and they make sure that certain things are done, right? Like they, for safety reasons, they call it.
Yeah.
They want to make sure hand railings are secure, fire extinguishers are mounted. So you were the punch list person. You'd come in.
Yeah, GFIs, like if
Yep.
if
The
the outlet
outlets,
needs to be GFI protected if
Right.
it's near the water,
Yeah.
double locks on the doors, it has to have the key on the one side.
Yes.
So I started myself a nice little business going in.
And you could do it, right? It's like, I'll hang the
I was the only
smoke
one.
detectors
Yes,
and I'll
I
do
was
the-
doing
yeah.
all the work. Yes,
Yeah.
yep.
And I love that. That's such a great niche. And like, obviously us in real estate, we need somebody like that. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
So we're doing that.
and so I think there's more people doing it now. It became like a thing.
Yeah.
I'm the originator.
Yeah.
That's right.
Trademark.
And I'm sure you did it really good. It sounds like whenever you do something, give it your all. So,
Yeah, thank you. It was nice. Because again, I knew the inspector, so I was able to, instead of people losing out on money from not being able to rent because they can't get a CO until later.
Right.
You were able to make it happen.
I was a fixer.
Yeah.
I was a
Tell me
fixer.
what we need to do and I'll do it.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that kind of snowballed a little bit. And before I knew it, gosh, I was doing like 20 COs a week coming into like the summer.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
For a bunch of the realtors.
Wow,
And
so you
it
were
just,
working hard.
not really. I would go in and I do my sweep and then change a couple outlets, fix a couple things.
That's cool for
Well,
somebody
for
like
you,
you,
it's
right?
like,
It's for me,
right.
it would take
You're like,
hours.
that's a drop in the
Yeah.
bucket. For me, I'd be like,
How do I make this drill now?
But you're used to power tools.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I had a whole thing in my garage, and I would stock on, fire extinguishers and smoke detectors and
carbon.
like buy
yes,
bulk,
and
essentially.
yes, I did.
Right.
Yep, and I just
That's awesome.
separate fee and charge it, and it
Yeah.
was great. It was
That's
cash,
amazing.
and
I don't
love
even know
that.
if I test the smoke detectors properly.
Yeah, right.
Like,
I make
I'm
it
like,
go off.
how
I'm
many
like, is
times
it working?
have to be?
Yeah.
Tell me I'm pretty.
Exactly.
so now it's way different. But
So did that parlay more into like handyman projects? And
Yeah.
it was like, can you also, if
Yeah.
you're handy, can you do this for
Yep.
us? Yeah.
yeah, and it also, again, these houses that I'm working in are in Deal
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
on Ocean Avenue.
We have money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
money.
There's no Deal. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yes.
Beachfront
I think
homes.
Deal was like
God's
the
country.
second most wealthy town in America. I don't know, maybe not America, but
Probably
it's up
definitely
there.
New
Definitely New
Jersey.
Jersey.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was number
I
one.
heard you
Yeah.
say God's country.
It
I
is.
just think that's really funny.
That's what they call it. They do. They
I've never
call it
heard
the,
that.
the guys, they call it
Yeah.
God's country.
You know, these
Great.
big lots and big houses. and
Yeah,
the ocean.
you go up
Yeah.
on the beach and watch the sunrise, man. You don't even know.
Yeah.
You forget that you're standing
Jersey.
there.
Yeah. It's
Yep.
like,
Yeah.
where am I?
Yes.
You forget that you're standing there. It was gorgeous. It's God's country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was working in these houses and I was meeting the owners of these houses.
So you're making more connections now. Yeah.
And the people who were renting these houses, you think people were renting to buy now. They were, even doing it then.
And because this deal, they're paying top dollar for
Yep.
rent.
top dollar.
So they were like, why don't I buy something? Because they have the money. If they're paying top dollar for rent.
You could buy something that's going to fall down for over $1 million.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, forget it. You can't touch something like that for $4 million.
Right.
But
But did they become your clients then? Eventually you built
Yeah.
a business that way. That's
Yep.
amazing.
yep. And a lot of the renters, the wives love me.
Oh my gosh.
Because I show up, I drink coffee,
Yeah.
I BS, and
Right.
I pull out my power tool and I
Yeah.
start fixing things.
And not like you're a woman, right? So they can relate
Relate.
obviously
Yes.
on that level, but also they know that like they're talking to someone who's going to listen to them, listen to what they're
Yeah.
saying, and not necessarily,
Brush them to the side.
them off because
Yeah.
sometimes the men in the industry.
Or think they could take advantage of you.
Yes.
That's another
Yeah. God. Every story of my life, if I, you know what I mean? Yeah. I let them ask the questions that they feel essentially dumb asking.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I know, because obviously as a woman, yeah, you're right. There's sometimes when you do want to ask a contractor question, but like, is this dumb? I'm not going to ask.
You're intimidated.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
some way. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So then, sorry to go back to the Earl story, but like, were you doing this while, like, after he passed?
no,
or-
so I ended up, actually the year after he passed ended up being like my best year.
Wow. So you put yourself into work.
I wasn't planning on it.
Wow.
I really wasn't planning on it. I was blah my whole life.
Yeah.
My whole life turned upside down. So I kept that going. It was a nice little side hustle.
Yeah.
Really just something to keep me busy because we were traveling and it put gas in the truck to, fill up the camper or, in the motorcycles. He had a motorcycle. We went down a bike week. We were just very random and impulsive and enjoying life. And it helped be able to do that. So I was doing that. And then I got a call from the same realtor who got me into the COs. And she's like, a friend of mine, and I know this guy is becoming an investor, developer. They've already got a project started in Wanamassa, and he needs somebody in the office. I was like, hell yeah. Thank you. Okay, cool. So I went, I interviewed, and there was one house up, planned for 12 on a cul-de-sac. And I mean, start to finish. Wow. They knocked the trees down. We put in the roads.
That's
they
amazing.
did the sewers.
So you got to see everything.
Oh,
that is amazing.
It was great.
Yeah.
And it was just me.
I love it.
It was just
amazing.
me. That was in November.
And you're the only female working with the...
It was, so there was one of the contractor, and then the owner. Mm-hmm. The owner really necessarily didn't have any construction background. He just bought
the vision.
He was the pocket. Yeah. He was the pocket.
Yeah.
So he had hired a builder basically that came in and trained me.
That's awesome.
And I had some knowledge already. Right. So
and built upon what you already
it made sense and I loved it. January came actually. So that was in November. December, Earl had finalized his divorce, a while prior, and we were spending all the time with the kids. Yeah. It was great. It was an awesome time. And we decided, okay, now that all the craziness is done, we're gonna find my sister. I hadn't found her yet.
Yep. That was still on your agenda.
Yep. Yeah. And we're gonna get married.
Wow.
Now's the time. You know what I mean? We can do it. So we go out. We go shopping. We get a ring.
Wow.
And he wasn't telling me. I help him pick it, but he wasn't telling me when he was getting it. Came home one day in December. We were at a Christmas party, and he proposed to me with just us.
I love that.
Yeah, we cried, and we just, it was nice.
Beautiful moment.
Yeah. And then he teased me, put it in a box on our dresser, and was like, I've got something special planned, and little did I know. So on Christmas Eve at our friend's house, he had this whole elaborate thing done, and he didn't, he got to make decisions at work all the time. So he was a very private person, personally. And I mean, all of his friends were there. I was the third wife.
Wow.
So,
but it was just wanted to celebrate.
Yeah. We were, God, there was no question. We were so in love.
I know.
So
and it probably felt good for him. He knew this is the person I'm going to go.
That was it.
With.
Yeah. Ultimately, he did. So big sign. His son comes out box. He did the box inside the box inside the box. And I was like, wait, this is Santa's paper, and I'm like, this is a box from the house. What is going on here? And he pulls out a glow ring, one of those club glow rings. Yep. And it was the Christmas that it was 70 degrees outside.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, we're all sweating in summer Christmas outfits.
Yep.
And I was like, we have one of these already. And his son comes out, and it was, our family is missing just one thing.
Aww.
And then his daughter comes.
I love it.
Will you be our stepmom and wear daddy's ring? And she was wearing the ring.
Oh, my heart. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
What a beautiful moment.
It was a great moment. Yeah. He passed 5 days later.
Wow. During the holidays, too.
New Year's Day.
Oh, my God. I'm so sorry.
Car accident.
Oh.
It was hard.
So then, obviously, now your world is literally turned upside down. Literally.
It's
yeah.
Do you not want to get out of bed, right?
Nothing. I had my friends physically putting me in the shower.
I couldn't even imagine. I just, after all that, special, beautiful moments and all this planning, and you finally feel we're getting to a good place to get it taken away from you.
Yeah. He was 6 years away from retirement. We, we followed the NASCAR circuit.
Life was
ripped away from me.
Yeah.
Literally ripped away from me. We already knew we were getting married, filled out the paperwork, courthouse, nothing crazy, gonna do something with our friends later. Yeah. There was just so little pressure on it, but it just wasn't there anymore. Wow. So, and him being such a public figure, it was media and departments and guys that he had a long career. He He had joined the police department when he was 17 as a bike cop.
So like everybody's mourning the whole town.
Everybody. He was fire chief twice. He got sworn in as fire chief for the third time that morning, actually. Yeah. And everyone was mourning a lot. And
That must have been so hard.
Do you still talk to his kids?
no. No. I'd love to.
Yeah, that's tough.
They were young.
Yeah.
They were really young. So it's hard. It was, it's hard for everybody. We had to, separate all that for a little while.
Yeah.
I was really close with his mom. I stayed close with his uncle, which is how I actually met my current fiance.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Aw. So is that year a blur for you, the recovery after Earl? Like, so you lose him, and is that?
It's like a blackout.
So again, I was listening to one of your podcasts and like how you already had kids or a son, right? When he had passed
the
away.
grieving one that Sue did, right?
Yeah.
Kind of grief.
Yeah. So, I was really like thinking about that. I had such an opposite journey than you did. Thankfully, you had your son. I mean, I tell you, I made every wrong choice that there.
Well, we kind of like talked about. I mean, I feel like for Michael being in my life, he was an anchor in a way to keep me.
Not going
I
off
had
the
to
deep
focus
end.
on him.
Yeah.
But I don't. If he didn't exist,
Yeah.
like drunk.
Yeah.
Like on another planet. in another country,
have.
like I'd be crazy.
Yeah. I didn't know what the hell to do. And honestly, all I could do was work.
Wow.
So
You just picked it up. Like, I'm gonna.
triple time.
Wow.
Triple
So
time.
you're literally just trying to like push through.
Anything and everything that I can. I didn't go to therapy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
You couldn't get me there.
You didn't want to talk about it.
I didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was a zombie.
And like completely opposite, because you weren't doing the support groups or grieving. You were just
It
trying
was
to push
just
through.
You're
me
in a room alone.
Yeah.
You're in your own
Thoughts.
bubble
in my own
alone.
room, in our home.
Yep.
Aw.
In our home that I couldn't touch and couldn't move.
Yeah.
And for a year and a half, it was the same. I remember when my girlfriend came and finally packed up the kids' playroom, I turned around and walked out.
Yeah.
It was hard.
Yeah.
But I worked. So
And you kept building your business.
I was doing them both.
Wow.
Got my first whole house reno on my own while I'm building these other houses.
And so that's incredible. You're a female. Is it hard for you to talk to other contractors and males? Like,
No.
good. Do you feel like you know enough of what you're talking about?
You've been around it. I feel like you've been
Yeah.
around it so much as like you speak male.
Yes, I definitely. And most of my male friends will tell you that is correct.
Are they doing mansplaining on you? And you're like, no, I know this. Like, stop
Yes.
trying to
Some of the things that come out of my mouth, they look at me and I'm like, what? Nothing you wouldn't have said. And they're like, but come on. And I'm like, yeah, well, hi, have we met? Working, on the job sites at the new construction, I got all that experience. And, it was great. The inspectors would come in and they would actually spend time with me, like going through the plans. They're like, look, we're going to do 12 houses here. Wow. And ultimately, I don't want to be coming back here failing the same thing all the time. So they took the time
to tell you what they're looking for. Yeah.
Tell me what they're looking for, to explain, the plans to what I was looking at. And, each inspector kind of has their own little thing that they look for. So I just took it all in.
Yeah.
I took it all in. And I'm like, I ended up, like, I related these guys. They trusted me. I was gentle enough to explain things, yet strong enough to make sure that it got done. Yeah. And I'll tell you, if they did something wrong or if I didn't like it, I'd be the first one to make them rip it out and redo it. Yeah.
Because you know what you're looking for, too.
I said that trim?
Yeah.
You would accept that? Your wife would accept that?
Oh, wow. Good for you. Yeah.
Take it out.
So you have standards.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah.
Oh, quality.
Yeah, for sure.
Quality.
I love that.
Quality for sure.
Which I feel like, and I hate to like say it's a gender thing, but I feel like women have more of like that detail.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have more of that detailed look?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the process to it. Like I always say, read the instructions. Read the directions.
Yeah. I feel
so
like men are like, I could do this, so I'm just gonna put it together. But
And
did you go through A through Z? Did you do it the right exact steps?
Yeah. There's a way to do it smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Let's figure it out. Spend the few seconds before we do it
and
to
if you just
figure
do it right the first time.
Yes,
then
we're not going to be here
again.
again. You got to hear me. They don't want to hear me hangry and disappointed.
So then at this point, do you feel like you're really, like when you're doing the construction, are you happy? Like this is making you fulfilled and you're doing what you love to do?
I was just damn good at it.
Oh, you were like, I own it.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
This is the confidence I'm
I
here
know.
for.
Yeah. Like,
I love that. Like you just knew it. You're like, I'm good at this.
and it was, and like, I didn't have to pay too much, attention to it. And it was like, okay, like this has to be done and that has to be done. And, you're taking a room that looked like okay beforehand and then you make it look scary by demoing it completely, and then just to see what it turns into. Really, it was immediately, it became a passion. It was always a passion, but I create the space that families have their memories in for a lifetime.
So you take pride in that.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. When you're talking your childhood memories, you think of your childhood memories running around with your siblings and your friends and where you grew up. And at our age, you have that. I built that.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I built that.
So amazing.
So I pour that into everything that I do.
Are you still very hands-on, or are you at the level where you more delegate?
So I just crossed that bridge.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I wore a tool belt for 10 years.
And you would get down and dirty. Like, I'm here. We are working side by
I
side.
live to get down and dirty. Like, you know what I mean?
I will work side by side with you. We're doing this.
Oh, yeah. You would always, before I had kids, and even a little after I had my first daughter, carrying a 2x4 tile.
pregnant.
You
Yeah, I
name
just
it.
need, like, do we have pictures of you pregnant, like, working on a
Yes.
house? Yes.
Yes. Yes.
You're like, you can't stop me.
Nope.
No, I did a house pregnant with my first daughter,
Wow.
and I finished the house on a Friday, and I was in labor on Monday.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're my hero.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really.
You're like, I could have this baby now. I got it done.
Yeah, it was funny. We actually joked that I was going to have it in like the paint department at Home Depot because I was always in Home Depot waddling myself around, and no, she came out great. And then I actually,
She's good.
yeah, she's good. She came right out.
There's good
did her
construction going on in there.
Yeah,
too, right?
yep. And then I did another project as she was growing up. Like 2 weeks after she was born, put her in the car, started.
You have the itch for it. You're like, I got to
I mean, I can't sit. I can't sit around and do absolutely nothing. I was better at that point because I had gone through so much, and then getting pregnant like really kind of turned things around for me. So yeah, she was just, that's it. She was coming with me, and I couldn't sit still. I did a project with her in a pack and play
Oh my gosh.
for all season.
And was she great? She would just chill?
She was a baby.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So she had no choice.
She had no choice. She was like 5 months old till,
Such a mom boss. Sorry. This is like mom boss
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
You're like, I got to do what I got to do. And I have my baby, but I'm still going to do what I got to do.
Yeah, right in a pack and play under a shaded tree. It had her with me. I ended up buying like wagons and this and because I had to be
thing.
there
Right.
and I was just project managing at that point. But I knew at that point that's what I wanted to do. Like I was project managing, I was facilitating, I was getting the people there and organizing everything and telling everyone what to do and doing the inspections because I had the relationship. So yeah, she took her first steps on a job site.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. She had her little Timberland boots and
It's incredible.
yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
And that's awesome to hear how your life is like, obviously from all that sadness, you have your daughter and you're proud, I'm sure, to show her like the things that you're doing. So now.
So you have 2 daughters?
I have 2 daughters.
And is this with your current fiance?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is beautiful. So things did get better.
Things got, look, they got better. Like I said, I made every wrong choice that I possibly could have. And we talk about this. I guess it really is like a rise of the phoenix because when I tell you, I didn't think I could hit any more bottom from losing Earl. And guess what I did? So, but I am actually most grateful for that bottom because I wouldn't be with my fiance. I wouldn't have my children. And I sure the hell would not be sitting here today.
Yeah. Sometimes you need to get there to kind of scare the shit out of yourself.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Like you thought that was scary. Well,
Right.
guess what?
Yeah.
This is scary. So I hear it, I get it, and I was like,
And the only other place to go from bottom is up.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you
Like
hit that bottom.
literally left with nothing. And what am I gonna do? Give up? Yeah, right. Like who am I?
As long as you have your hands right, like I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw something the other day and it said, the comeback is personal. It's apology to myself for not showing up. And it just hits me different because I had my second daughter and I'm like, okay, what am I doing? Am I just going to be a project manager? COVID had already happened and the things that are in the real estate market were just going crazy. And I'm doing houses left and right as a project manager. And I'm like, why don't I have my license? Like, I should just do this.
Because you were working for another company? Or
Nope.
Okay.
It was just like
yeah.
me working for homeowner investors.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And, the same investors that I had known and met throughout the years. And,
But only the people you knew, so you were keeping
I didn't know how to start a business.
Yes, I know.
I didn't know anything.
Because that wasn't in your wheelhouse at the time.
It's not, who was showing me?
Yeah.
My mom, nobody. Who was showing me how to do anything?
Right.
So I'm like, you know what? I know I could be making more money. I just get random phone calls from people from years ago. Can you fix this?
Yeah.
So that's another business. Another thing that I do is when people kind of run into
fixer.
I'm a fixer.
Indie woman.
Yes. So when people do work and they maybe didn't take permits out or they didn't do what they were supposed to do. Shortcuts and things. People call me and say, how do I fix this? I
called Krista to fix an issue.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's being
Mrs.
fixed.
Fix It.
It's being fixed.
Fix It. That's a good That's a good name.
And she is so happy, like so happy. Again,
Thank goodness we've turned that ship around.
Yeah. And in a way that goes back to me helping people because she was feeling really lost in that moment. She had gotten
bad experience, right? So and this happens unfortunately with construction. People go through bad experiences.
Yeah.
I did. Like I'm in real estate and we had a bad contractor at one point, and when you are in that experience, gosh, you just feel vulnerable. How could I let that person take advantage of me? And what do I do? I just lost all this money. So people come to you at a vulnerable time.
Unfortunately, too, you start to get the idea that all contractors are like that, and it gives everyone else a bad name. But thankfully, you come in and you're like a ray of fucking sunshine coming through.
I'm just easy to talk to. You know what I mean? And look, I'm not perfect either. I make mistakes, and sometimes I don't know, but I do the best.
Own it, I'm sure.
Yeah,
right. Not deflect or get
make excuses.
Right.
Yeah.
Or run away.
Oh, I don't try to do things that. There you go. Running. That's a trait, unfortunately, that happens with grief and things like that. Right. But I've been able to. One of my traits is, it may be a week or two from now, but I'm coming back and saying, look, I fucked up and I'm here and I'm sorry.
And we'll make it right.
And we do, we make it right.
That's awesome.
Because sometimes you just put too much on your plate. You're a mom and a boss, and I have one at home in diapers and a 4-year-old. So, they're in daycare. Kaylee went into daycare eventually at 18 months because I couldn't.
I know she's toddler running around. You're like, okay.
Yep. And then I found out I was pregnant with my second one.
Wow.
And
so how old are they now?
2 and 4.
Yeah, so this is like
you're in the
funny.
Yay.
You're like in real toddler time.
Yay. So Kaylee just started doing dance class.
Oh,
so
cute.
And I was always, involved in sports and things. And I was like, oh, mom life, this is how it starts now. So I have my Suburban and, the cooler with the snacks and stuff inside of it.
But hell yeah, you're driving a Suburban.
I'm like, I don't want to hear you turn the movie on inside. Gotta go to dance class.
Awesome.
I want Mickey Donald's. Mickey Donald's. So and Cassidy was in daycare at 10 weeks old.
Wow. Because you had to get back to work.
Got back to work.
So then eventually did you start that company? So then you really
I did.
I need to sit down and I need to do this.
Yep. So again, back in 2000 so Earl passed in 16. Back then, when I was doing the COs and everything, one of the guys that came to me and was like, you really should just put business cards. And I was like, well, I don't even know what to call myself and this and that. He's like, you need just something good. And, we went back and forth, and it was one of Earl's friends that helped. And he actually came up with the name and Kreative Home Solutions, and the KR and EA stands for Krista Richter, Earl Alexander. And Kreative Home Solutions, because I've come up with creative ways to help people in their specific situations. I tend to think of things 3 steps ahead,
right,
before it comes up.
That's awesome.
So that's where that came from.
That's so cool.
And it stuck.
Yeah. So then you have your own company now.
I have my own company.
What did you do remodeling?
So I specialize in additions and renovations.
Wow.
because they're more difficult. I love new constructions, don't get me wrong. So I do new homes, a lot of custom homes.
And so you deal with towns sometimes, and you know how.
Constantly.
And each town has their own nuance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And different sets of rules. I mean, I've been working with Ocean Township since 2015.
Wow.
Well,
So
I met you. Well, I didn't even realize it was you, but I was showing a house in Ocean, and she was finishing up all of the renovations.
And was it surprising to walk in the door and see a female?
Well, yes, definitely. But it was even more surprising because my friend's husband was there doing the stairs, and he opened the door, and I was like, "Oh, what are you doing here?"
Lake Avenue.
Yes.
I had just given birth to Cassidy.
Oh, get out. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah,
Lake
that's right.
Avenue.
It was like 2 years ago.
Yes. Yep.
And I remember meeting you very quickly, but when we connected on the phone, you remembered. You're like,
Yeah.
hey, we met before, and I just remember you did an amazing job with that house.
Thank
It
you.
looked amazing.
It looked great. I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. It was beautiful 7-bedroom
Wow.
with the river behind it, new kitchen, everything. We've ripped it down
Yeah.
completely to the studs. So while I say renovation, it's all brand new plumbing, brand new electric, brand new HVAC, you know.
Brand new framing, all of it.
A lot, yeah, leaving the shell and just going. So it might as well be,
New construction.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, but having to deal with existing stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's been fun.
And you have to get creative, which is hence your name, right? So
Yes.
sometimes you're like, okay, we can't do this because the town won't allow us, or the plans, or what.
Or just, you know, how do I deal with this issue? You know what I mean? We're relocating the HVAC equipment over to here, but our beams are running in the other way. And how are we going to get this from here to there?
requires thinking.
Yeah, because again, your new construction, it's all built into the plan.
Right.
You know, renovation, you have to configure what you have
Right.
to what you got
Yeah.
and, you know, make it work. So,
And especially, I'm sure, with older homes, right? Because older homes were built in a certain way that people now want more open. And can I open this wall? And can I, vents if they're there. It's like, oh man, I don't know how we're going to relocate this.
rip them out and start.
Electrical, all of it, right? It's like, where do I put the plumbing?
Yeah, who knows? Like, you know, that's what.
Can everything be done in a way, would you say? Like, there's usually always a solution to do things?
Yeah,
Just a matter
one
of-
way or another.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it requires a little bit of compromise from everybody's
Right,
side,
true.
but one way or another, you can achieve pretty much exactly what you're going for.
Yeah.
Yeah, thankfully. You know, it just depends on how much time. It's important to find people who care about what they do still.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm sure putting together the team over the years.
Yeah. Look,
Yeah.
I'm only as half as good as my team. And that changes. You had great contractors before COVID who unfortunately maybe something happened or they lost their staff and then aren't good contractors. And there's a lot of people that, you know, kind of come and go.
Oh, really? So, yeah.
Yeah, you're always making new relationships,
Yeah.
which makes, again, being a woman in this industry, like I get constantly mistaken for the designer.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I'm like, nope, that's your wife's job. I don't have an opinion on how you should decorate this.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know what my typical client normally does and I will give suggestions,
Right.
but I'll build it.
Yeah.
What
do you
like,
want?
What's your vision?
Right.
What do you want it to look like?
What do you want it to look like? Draw me a stick figure picture and, you know, and I'll make it come to life.
Yeah.
So that's the fun part about it because, you know, at first it's like, oh, that's the designer. And they're like, no, that's the boss. And then they look at me like,
What?
Is it hard for you as a woman, going to an industry that's male dominated?
not anymore.
Good.
Not anymore. I feel like it was always comfortable to me. Again, I was a little bit of a tomboy. So
Yeah, like how
because
you grew up, you're always surrounded.
always having fire department and you know what I mean? I always had to stand out and show all of that. So it becomes tough sometimes, but in general, no, I can definitely
That's awesome.
command a room.
Good.
Yeah.
And I know what I'm talking about. So it's like they look at me like that and they're like, oh, great.
That makes it easier too.
Yeah. And then I start speaking or, you know, something happens and then they're like, wow, you really do
Like,
know
can't
what
bullshit this one.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny to watch them try to test me on
Yes.
this, you know, like, why did you do it this way? And I was like, well, I thought about doing it this way, but because, you know, you got to think of the countertop and the this and the that and, you know, everything else. And okay.
Just don't knows her stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I would love for you to do like a master class, but for like young girls. So like I don't
Right.
think that
I was gonna say I want to be you when I grow up.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
I think that you're a creative. Like, you're a creative overall. That's your persona, right? And I think there's probably so many little girls out there who are also creatives, but they're directed towards different ways for that outlet. You know what I'm saying? And not
to
necessarily
be the designer,
right?
To be the designer,
and not to be a problem solver and creative in construction
or the builder.
And
like, no, you can build it,
and just to show that you truly can do anything as a woman.
You really can. You really can. I woke up one day and I looked like, how did I get here? You know?
And it's not like you're this like 6 foot tall, big, like
yes, I'm a tiny 5'7", tiny.
Like,
yes,
you're not like what
you're typical,
right? What I had in my head, which is crazy, right? But it's true.
Yeah.
So it's
Did you
amazing.
Think a linebacker.
I don't know.
That's what you do. Like you really,
you think.
You think like a woman contractor, and then you don't think that they're gonna show up. Not that I look like this every day. I definitely pull
I don't either. So.
I pull my hair back in a ponytail, you know, jeans and a t-shirt. Right. But yes.
There's a show on HGTV, right? A Woman and Her Mom. There's 2 women.
Oh, yeah.
And they're inspiring because I never saw a show where it's her and her mother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I forget.
She's redhead, and I follow them.
And they do the old houses.
Yeah.
That's their niche. And I remember just watching the show and being like, that's amazing. Like, because I see her cut her wood and they build it and they do it. And that's truly amazing that you're doing it, too.
Everyone jokes like, you should go on HGTV. And I was like, let's find a
Let's do it.
Have you ever been approached?
No, who would
you are a show for sure.
Who would I am a show.
Yeah.
And I am.
Yes.
We got to get this podcast on HGTV.
Just wait till you meet my kids. My 4-year-old is just me, and she is
Sassy.
she is sassy. She's going to be something else. Very spicy, but gorgeous. Gorgeous big blue eyes. You know what I mean? And my younger one is like just like her dad. And God bless him, man.
What does he do? So your fiance?
So he's in the industry. So he does HVAC.
Awesome.
He's a technician.
So you guys have to work together?
No, we don't.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No, we don't.
You're like, no.
No, we don't. We are a phenomenal team at home.
That's awesome.
And he has 2 children also. And so together we have 4.
Wow, so you're blended. Yeah.
Blended, and they're here every weekend. So we're a house of 6 every weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot going on.
A lot going on. So our work time is our time. Yeah. So he works for a company, he does great.
That's awesome. He must be proud of you, though.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm super proud of him, though, too. You know, he's always been very technical and really didn't have the way to make the connections to get to somewhere that was going to give him the platform to really thrive for himself also, because, you know, I met him at one of my worst times in my life. So, you know, we went through that together. Wow. And every single card was stacked against both of us. Wow. And we just handled it.
And made it work.
We had kids.
Teamwork, baby.
Teamwork. Therapy. Couples therapy, individual therapy. Yeah. We worked really hard at it for a year and a half because, and you know, we were pregnant with my second, so we had to. Can't have 4 kids, and what goes from there? What goes from there? So phenomenal dad. He really takes the time, the effort. I mean, he takes all 4 of the kids. Wow. And he's super smart. They call him the mad scientist. He can literally fix anything.
Does he ever ask you questions about your projects then?
I just talk about him.
That's so cool that he
but if he gets off early, he'll call me like, "Where are you at?" You know, and he stops by. He gets to walk a little. Yeah. It's cool. And then I see all the things that he does. So
that's so cool.
When I need a truth answer, or if I don't know something before I'm going into it, he's my go-to. Yeah. Like who else am I going to go to? So yeah, he's great. He's a great dad.
Found your person now. Your little happy end.
All the pieces are falling into place, like right where they should be.
You put in the work. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
I'm still putting in the work.
You know, you have to lean into it.
Yeah, and like you said, be thankful for what you have. Yes. Like every single day. You know, I look at my children and trying to make sure that they're good women. It's a lot.
It is raising, being a mom in itself is hard. Then
Hard.
Yeah, and then working is hard and all of it.
Yep. But I give our generation a lot of credit, though, because I do think that we are way more focused and concerned about our children's well-being.
Yeah.
And nothing against our
Or in tune,
boomer
right?
parents,
To like,
but like,
yeah.
you know, there's just a different level of focus on it, I think, at this point. So, like, hearing you say it, I know you guys were all on the same page.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, we do what we do because we want our kids to be good humans and to
Yes.
feel nurtured and cared for.
And grow up well-rounded.
Yeah. And better than what I had. But then at the same time, it's like I am who I am because of what I went through.
Right.
How do I give them a better life while not raising assholes?
It's hard.
Like really hard balance.
Be honest about what you went through, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm honest about it a lot because I truly believe I am one of those success stories.
If I looked up resilient in the dictionary right now, literally your picture is plastic.
Yes.
Thank
I was
you.
gonna say
You
that.
need a book, like we said earlier.
I'm excited. Let's do
A
it.
juicy, amazing, inspiring book in you.
Thank you.
I agree.
It's fun. It's been, and I'm here for it at this point. I lost, not that I lost, but I lost 5 years of my life to grief. And
Like it was consuming you.
You suffered a lot of loss that most people haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in a pretty, like
your
shortish
formative-
amount of time.
shortish amount of time, yeah.
And your formative years. Like,
Yes.
Like,
To learn who I am and to grow and to
Right.
become like a better person. And, I always thought I was great and kind of full of myself. That gave me my confidence. And then really hitting rock bottom, I will say it's been hard to try to, feel confident. Again, that's where the imposter syndrome comes from. So, really I remind myself, like, I've always been a badass.
Yeah.
I've done the hard things.
Yes.
And the best part about it is that people aren't judging you as much as you think.
Right.
all in your head.
Like,
a
no
lot
one
of
gives
time.
a fuck about you.
Yeah. Yes. No.
I started doing I'm like, no one cares about them, too.
Yeah.
And if they care, it's a 1 second thought. And why are you getting that
who
1
cares?
second thought so much weight?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I was in the public eye, being in the fire department, the police department. And
I'm sure then it was like, oh, you're a woman firefighter? Like, you probably got some.
I was 18. Again, my dad, I grew up there.
Yeah.
So it was, when I see the normal person, they're like, what, are you real? And I'm like, I'm a unicorn. You'll never meet anybody like me. Ha ha.
You're like the Barbie, the firefighter Barbie.
Yes.
You're the contractor Barbie.
Yep.
You've done a lot. Like, oh my God, you need your own
Renaissance
Barbie.
woman.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. Thanks. It's weird to say it, like to hear it and to.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Thank
If
you.
you ever need someone to if you're feeling imposter syndrome, just give us a call.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
thank
lift
you.
you up.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's fun. I am really excited where the company is taking off to. I actually have employees now.
Wow.
Like I pay payroll taxes, people.
Like, what an amazing mom boss move.
Yep.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's so surreal because again, from where I was 3 years ago to where I am now is just crazy.
Night and day. So it shows like you can change your situation.
100%.
Yep.
100%. And I really try to push that. Like I could go around and pretend like all the bad things didn't happen to me. But at the end of the day, as long as I keep reminding myself that that doesn't define me, I and what I do every day is what defines me. And fixing things that other people can't fix
Yep.
is, that's what keeps me going.
Yeah, it's your gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my little girls being happy and I can put them in dance class and I could take them places and you know what I mean? And I don't have to worry about certain things is like,
It's huge.
I can take care
Paramount.
of that.
yeah. And it's been a great ride.
I love it.
It's incredible. So obviously you were, recording in New Jersey. What territories do you cover, would you say?
So really Ocean Township, Monmouth County,
Do you go into other counties?
not really.
I hear you, because you have a lot of work here.
I have a lot
I
of
don't
work here.
need to.
I don't need to.
That's great.
I've been blessed. I've been blessed to be in the community in this area and into the Jewish community in this area. I've been working for them for a really long time. So
And they're doing a lot of development, and you're part of the
a lot of stuff. People know me. I have a seat at the table with some of the top builders in Deal and in Oakhurst and Ocean.
Yep.
I'm friends with a lot of them and have been friends with them through relationships because of Earl, just because I've been around and, gotten to know me, and to know that I have those allies that are in the same industry as me that are top dogs it's pretty cool.
And like all these years later too, because it's only like it's about your connection, but it's also about being your integrity.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's, and to realize that you didn't burn a bridge as bad as you thought you did, because you really didn't hurt anybody but yourself. I didn't hurt anybody. I hurt me.
Yeah.
Yep.
I potentially could have destroyed my children, the people that I begged and prayed for, for a really long time. I didn't think I was going to have kids. And to know that they'll never know how that, like, what that feels like, the struggle. Cool.
Yeah.
I'll just find some other way to create like a lasting memory for them that, that they regret or something at some point. Because it's inevitable.
It'll be something.
It'll be something.
They'll blame you for something.
Yeah,
like
it'll
that.
be, but it's not going to be for that. Yep. It's nice when we drive past houses and they're like, Mommy, who built that house? I want to go to work with you. She begged me today. She wanted to come with me today. And I was like, if you were just a little bit older,
You'll have to let her listen to this though one day.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Thank you.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on
thank
today.
you.
You are
Oh, thank
my
you.
boss
Inspiring.
through and through.
Where can
Hell
we
yeah.
find you? Are you on Instagram?
So Instagram, Facebook, Kreative Home Solutions. Kreative is with a K.
Okay.
That's Kreative with a K. When quality counts. Really, I'm working on a website right now,
Yay.
so that I can get all my pictures up there. I mean, I have a ton of projects. We have a ton of projects coming up.
Yay.
Yeah,
So
we're
you're staying
really
busy.
Yeah, I'm staying busy, and really I'm expanding, and it's been great.
That's
so
awesome.
Awesome. Well, we'll link everything on all of our posts and whatnot. And thank you again for coming
thank you
today.
guys. This is great.
Thank you for opening up.
Yeah,
Thank you.
for sure.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll see you all next week. Bye.